So this is an AI-generated image of Albert Einstein and Abbie Hoffman getting together for coffee in the 1960s in an imaginary cafe someplace in Paris, because that seems like a nice place to get together for coffee. Of course, this meeting never happened because this is an AI-generated image. They were generations apart. Albert Einstein actually died in the year 1955, so it would have been pretty impossible to get together for coffee in the 1960s. But as different as these two individuals seem to be, I mean, Albert Einstein was a genius, discovered the theory of relativity. He was a Nobel Peace Prize winner in the year 1922, and was involved in a lot of things that changed people's perception of the world around them. And Abbie Hoffman-two was very smart, not at genius level, but had a very high IQ, but he was totally different from Albert Einstein. He was outrageous, he was outspoken, he was involved in a lot of theatricals in the media all the time, leading peace protests. He was as a peace activist. And so both of these individuals did things differently, but there were similarities that they had. They both believed in peace. They were both outsiders in many ways. They didn't trust the authorities that much. They always questioned everything around them. So the similarities were similar. The differences were quite different. But you could imagine some of the conversation might have been something about Abbie saying about a peace protest that he was leading in Chicago in the 1960s, and maybe Albert coming back with, but what was the mechanism for change here? And then maybe Abbie coming back with, well, just the disruption to upset the status quo and to see what happens. So I think these two individuals were very different in how they might have done things, but it would have been interesting to think of what if they had gotten together and talked over coffee. That would have been such an interesting conversation, and maybe they would have seen a lot of similarities and had an interesting discussion.